Another day with Story Sirens podcast. And that's why Sarah is the singer. So
I was going to say, I love that we now have another jingle for Story Sirens. Thank you, Yenny.
You guys, I hope you guys know that Sarah sang that song. She sang that song. She'd be like,
I was just pretending Ursula the Sea Witch was taking my voice. There we go. That's all it is.
Well, we have the little Sarah mermaid as our...
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Little 7-year-old Sarah is just like, yes, I've achieved my dreams.
Yes, we love it. Actually, a lot of people have told me, like, man, like, where did you find that, like, intro? And I was like, we made it.
Because we...
Well, actually, Donald Guzzi made it.
Yes, we provided the bones.
Yeah.
And then he fluffed it up to make it sound professional. So thank you, Donald.
Isn't it
so
like
much.
the meat and potatoes? Isn't that it? Like we gave the meat and he made the potatoes. How is that soup?
Yeah, sure. However you want it to work.
What is
this
that?
A pot
soup?
roast? Is this a stew? Is this a shepherd's pie? I don't know.
But what is that?
Is this a sushi bake?
This is a podcast. Welcome to Story Sirens. The podcast where we discuss myths and legends from books, movies, and worldwide folklore. I'm Yenny.
And I'm Sarah. And before we go any further in this madness, we'd love to invite you to join our public Discord server. It's a great place to discuss mythology, pets, coffee, meat and potatoes analogies, I don't know. But you can find the link to our Discord server in the show notes.
I also feel like that sounded like, this Jet 2 holiday. And the meme...
Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday.
There you go, in our public Discord server.
In our public Discord server, without any sort of major bodily injury or psychological. Nothing beats,
Nothing beats Story Sirens. Now back to the episode.
All right, so today we will be covering one of the oldest stories known to mankind.
The Iliad.
Not yet.
The Odyssey.
We already did that one.
Yeah. We did that one. Well, tell me, what is the oldest one?
We are covering the Epic of Gilgamesh, which predates the Iliad and the Odyssey by roughly 1,500 years.
A long time.
Yeah. The Epic of Gilgamesh dates all the way back to between 2150 to 1400 BC, and may actually be somewhat based upon a real historical ruler who may or may not have been known by the name of Gilgamesh.
Oh, kind of like King Arthur.
Yeah, kind of.
Oh.
The epic follows our titular character as he seeks immortality, and in the process, discovers the meaning of life.
Oh, I bet there's a Hallmark movie on it. Anywho.
That'd be an interesting Hallmark movie.
I'd watch it. Before we dive into the legend, let's talk a bit about how we even know about this story. Because, I mean, we just found it, 170 years ago? And it is...
Yeah, thereabouts.
Centuries?
It's older than us by multiple millennia. So, in the 19th century, in the Assyrian capital of Nineveh, which is now Mosul, Iraq, large clay tablets covered in the cuneiform writing of ancient Mesopotamia were discovered by Turkish archaeologist Hormuzd Rassam, if I mispronounced that, I am so sorry, and British museum archaeologist A.H. Layard. These tablets were discovered in the ruins of the palace and temple library of Assurbanipal, the last great king of the Assyrian Empire, and an avid patron of the written word, which is slightly ironic considering the fact that Mesopotamian cuneiform at this time was kind of lost, kind of a lost written form. But the tablets were sent to England to be translated as there was this job position at the British Museum, kind of like how there were Egyptologists, there were Assyrianologists or Assyrianists who dedicated their entire field of study to ancient Assyria, Sumeria, Babylon, and were trying to decipher the ancient written texts that had been lost to centuries. So, Assyriologist George Smith set to work translating the tablets at the British Museum of History. And amongst common accounts of delayed shipments and broken wagon parts that were on the tablets, it was a very detailed, like, all right, well, here are the events of the day. He found writings detailing a great flood and avian messengers. It was a story similar to the tale of Noah found in Genesis in the
Right.
Hebrew Bible / Christian Old Testament. But this story wasn't about Noah. It was about a man named Utnapishtim. So on December 3rd, 1872, Smith read the story to the Society for Biblical Archaeology in London and was met with a great deal of excitement and curiosity. Historians and archaeologists began searching the ruins of Assurbanipal's palace for more tablets.
So it became pretty much the next search for all of these kinds of relics and stuff, right?
Yeah, they wanted to know, was there a continuation of the story? What else was this a part of? And also, I mean, like, even the day-to-day minutia, like, broken wagon parts and delayed shipments were interesting to know about.
Yeah.
Just not quite as interesting as, oh my gosh, this looks like a story we know.
Yeah,
So,
nice.
the subsequent tablets discovered showed that the deluge myth Smith had translated was part of a larger story, featuring a hero king named Gilgamesh. Further research showed that this tale was Sumerian in origin, meaning that the originals of the story could date back as far as 4500 BC.
Wow.
Again, millennia and millennia. As a result, it is most likely that Assyrian historians and scribes translated and wrote down the epic from an older, oral Sumerian tradition at the request of King Assurbanipal in an effort to preserve the story. Remember, this was a ruler who wanted everything written down for posterity and was known to have his scribes translate the scrolls and engravings he brought back from conquered lands.
I mean, we could definitely say then that his scribes were busy. This is why it's so integral that we find these and that scribes were a thing even back in the day, because with this we get a look at the past lives that were here before us, right?
Well, and I love that this is a king that recognized the value of the written word.
Yes.
I think that is so cool. I
Mhm.
think that's way cool.
Yeah.
So, at this point in time, scholars believe the extant portions of the epic, or the portions still in existence, date back, the tablets themselves, date back to 2000 BC, but are transcriptions of older texts that have been lost to time. Likewise, scholars believe that the epic is inspired by a king from Sumerian history. In the list of Sumerian kings, there is a Gilgamesh who was fifth in line of the first dynasty of the kingship of Uruk. Supposedly, his reign lasted for 126 years, and he was known in history as the builder of the Great Walls of Uruk.
120. How old are these people?
Well, I mean, in biblical history, people live to be hundreds and hundreds of years old, and this is supposedly older than biblical history. Also, there's a whole theory that if the ozone layer was thicker, we would have longer lifespans, and so there's this whole sort of idea that the ozone layer was thicker all those millennia ago. Again, a theory, but an entertaining one.
And interesting.
all the
I want to
same.
be. I don't know if I want to be as old as 130 something though, because people piss me off. So maybe at some point I'm like, you know what? I've done enough time.
You're like, I'm good. I've done my time.
Yeah.
God, get me out of here. I'm done.
Let's go.
All right. So today there are 12 known stone tablets that tell the story of Gilgamesh. It is very likely that there are more, and they just haven't been discovered yet.
And for today's episode, we will be reading from Herbert Mason's 1972 translation of the epic, as well as referencing the 1997 copy of Myths and Legends of Babylonia and Assyria by Louis Spence.
So let's get into the story.
Heck yeah.
Long ago in Mesopotamia, when man and monsters Yenny, do you need to go take care of your eyeballs?
I don't know. There's something in my eye.
Do you need to pause real quick and run to the restroom?
No, I'm gonna leave this in.
Okay.
I don't
all right,
know.
all right.
Something's in my eyeball.
I'm
I was
a
trying to
little
be
worried.
discreet.
I hate that feeling.
And
Oh.
I was trying to be discreet, and of course, my best friend's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
I love Yenny's discretion. I love it.
I'm you're trying to take this off. Luckily
I'm
for
like-
you that do not see us, you won't get to see me rubbing my eyeball. But I don't
Just
know.
trying not to die. I'm sorry,
I don't
honey.
know. It's the mascara. Anywho, back to it. Long ago
Anywho.
in Mesopotamia.
Long ago in Mesopotamia, when man and monsters simultaneously walked the earth, there was a powerful king named Gilgamesh. Son of a high priest and the goddess Ninsun, he was strong, handsome, and brilliant. And it was said that he was 2/3 immortal, because who cares about math?
Yeah.
There was no mortal man who equaled this demigod, but he was alone, bored, and restless. As a result, he was a tyrant king, forcing the men of the land to build a great wall around the kingdom, then allowing the walls to fall into disrepair so that he could watch them be rebuilt.
Huh.
He took pleasure in the ancient rite of sleeping with new brides before their husbands did on the wedding night. And the people grumbled, knowing their king's callous and contradictory nature was due primarily to his boredom and loneliness. Yeah.
That was a real
This
thing?
is our hero. This is our hero.
But that was a real thing?
Girl, have you never watched Braveheart?
I don't think I have.
Okay, well, one, go watch it. But two, yeah, that's a... Multiple cultures had that.
You know
And it was...
You know what? Okay, Gilgamesh, you already started bad. You're at a -1 from me. You were at 0.
This is our hero, folks.
He was at 0. You know, we were keeping it steady, and then he just right down to -1. Okay.
So meanwhile, in the wilderness of the open plains and grasslands, a beast of a man named Enkidu lived. Legend stated that Enkidu was created from clay by the gods as a way to one day challenge Gilgamesh and make him behave. He was covered in hair, some interpretations of the myth saying that he had horns and the legs of a bull or ram. He was strong and lithe and lived beside all the animals of the land like a brother. He ran with a gazelle and What?
Keep going.
I am paraphrasing.
No.
You're snarfing. Okay. All right. Tell me what your thoughts are, little miss. I have something in my eye.
He's kind of... You know that there are so many books of people who look exactly like this now running rampant in book talk. And you tell me
Oh, yeah.
he's a hot, hairy guy
who loves nature
who loves
and animals.
nature and has the legs of a bull. Or is that the only thing that he has? Sorry, keep going.
You're right.
I can't even
You're
keep
right.
a straight face. And he ran with the gazelles.
He ran with the gazelles, and he protected the freshwater springs, and he would destroy all the traps set up by the hunters.
Okay, keep going.
He's kind-hearted.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thwarted repeatedly by this man-beast, the hunters turned to their king and asked him to intervene. Having already heard about numerous marvelous beasts from around the world, the bored Gilgamesh told the hunters to handle it as they saw fit. He's like, I don't care.
Yeah, he's like, just build the wall again.
Yes.
That's all I care about.
Also, who's getting married? Bring me that announcement
Sarah,
list.
That's right. Take it out of my head.
So the hunters devised a plan. They would bring a beautiful temple prostitute to the wilderness to sleep with the wild man. And the animals would see that their wild companion was the same kind of monster as the hunters, and they would abandon him. So that's what they did.
A bit of a warning, the woman in this tale has no other name but temple prostitute.
So
Yeah.
we are merely paraphrasing here.
Exactly.
So they hired a temple prostitute and took her out into the wilderness, a journey that lasted several days, until they found the spring that Enkidu frequently drank from, and they told her to wait there for him. When Enkidu eventually came to the spring, he saw the beautiful woman, and while she was entirely strange to him, he was completely enthralled by her beauty. She, tamed him, if you get my drift. And,
it's not my turn
seeing-
to talk yet. So
You what?
it's not my turn to talk yet. So I'm gonna wait.
Seeing Enkidu being embraced by another human, the animals subsequently fled from him.
Okay. Does this not oddly remind you of Tarzan?
Yeah, but Tarzan got to stay with the apes.
Yeah, but he was like considering leaving because
was.
of Jane. So
Oh,
like
he totally was.
I don't know, like I kind of see a little Tarzan-y here, but like
That's true.
I don't know. I'm like
But Tarzan had actual real life love. Enkidu was just like, yeah, heck, let's get it on.
yeah,
There's no deep love here between them.
There's
It's just
something-
it's all chemistry.
Something will be going deep, but it's not love.
Oh, Yeti! All right. So, meanwhile, while Enkidu's getting it on, back in Uruk, Gilgamesh woke up from a vivid dream that distressed him.
Enkidu having sex. Distressed him.
And Gilgamesh woke up going, why not me?
Yeah, why? Why am I not with her first? That's it.
Right?
Jesus.
Oh my gosh. Okay. In the dream, a great star had fallen from the heavens, and the people of his kingdom gathered around and admired the star. And no matter how hard he tried, Gilgamesh couldn't move the star away from his people. He went to his mother, the goddess Ninsun, for her to interpret the dream. She listened to him and answered,
Your equal is the star which fell, as if a sign from heaven had been sent, which was too heavy, but which you will try to lift and drive away, and fail. Damn, Mom.
Gilgamesh's worried and anxious response was, but I have never failed at anything before. Which I'm like, was Gilgamesh like one of those gifted children who then like started experiencing burnout?
Yeah, I feel like it.
His mother continued, saying,
A companion who is your equal in strength, a person loyal to a friend, who will not forsake you, and whom you will never wish to leave.
Okay, so see, maybe the heavy star isn't so bad. I don't know.
But I mean, like, he's like, I've never failed before, and she just completely just was like, keeping
She's
up.
like-
She's like, I'm not paying attention to you, brother. So
Do you want the translation or not, sweetie?
Yeah.
Stop interrupting me.
thank you.
Gilgamesh was immensely confused by the dream and his goddess mother's interpretations.
I would be too.
Right? So he went back to bed and had another dream, this time of an axe that his people surrounded. And when he tried to lift the axe, he didn't have the strength to do so. Upon waking, Gilgamesh found that he was physically exhausted, as if he had actually been trying to lift some heavy object. And he went to his mother to tell her about this dream too. She told him,
The axe is a man who is your friend and equal. He will come. A graceful man who will lift you out of tiredness. Also lift your mother off of the annoyance of having to interpret every damn dream you got.
Right?
He doesn't go to his mom to say, how are you? He's
Right,
like,
no.
hello.
No.
Dream.
No.
No.
Come on.
Come on now.
That would mean that he respected her.
Oh,
Come on.
And we already know Gilgamesh is at -1. Enkidu,
Pretty much.
though,
Enkidu.
he's at a +1
Enkidu's-
right now. You know,
He's at a +1.
I can't be upset with him for getting it on, okay?
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. So Gilgamesh did confide to his mother that he wanted her words to be true, saying, I've never known such a weariness before, as if some life in me has disappeared. I am alone and I have longed for some companionship. My people have also grown tired of my solitude. Well, yeah, you're
Yeah.
kind of oppressing them because you're bored.
Exactly.
So, in the wilderness, Enkidu grew sad that the animals had completely left him. The temple prostitute told him that he should join her in the kingdom of Uruk, that he should dwell with other humans and meet the great king Gilgamesh, who was unjust to his people. Enkidu asked why the king was unjust, and was told it was the king's right to be so. Upset by this, because, again, he didn't see the reason in this, Enkidu agreed to go with her, and she took him to the home of a shepherd where Enkidu was bathed, shaved, dressed, and taught human manners.
Okay.
Then they continued their journey towards Gilgamesh.
So this is like the reverse of like the poor girl meets the really rich guy who then transforms the girl.
My
but
Fair
now-
Lady.
Yeah, but now
This is
it's
My Fair
switched.
Enkidu.
My fair
Enkidu.
bull man.
My Fair Bullman.
There you go.
Oh, I love it. So as the pair made their way into the city, the people marveled at the strange man walking amongst them. They called him an equal to their king, even if he was shorter. I'm not kidding. That is in the text. Enkidu saw the king making his way towards a family's home where a bride was waiting for him, and Enkidu moved to block the king's path. The people cheered at this show of defiance, and immediately the two lunged at each other, kicking and wrestling and trying to subdue one another.
They fell like wolves at each other's throats, like bulls bellowing, and horses gasping for breath that have run all day, desperate for rest and water, crushing the gate they fell against. The dry dust billowed in the marketplace, and people shrieked. In awe? Because,
Yeah,
like,
what-
two
what
hot
a sight.
guys? Two hot guys wrestling
Just-
over a girl. You know that girl went to sleep that night going like, Mom,
I
if you
got
would have
it.
seen
I got
how
it.
many men the king fought for me, bro. She would never, that's it. Her life is like forever like the best. She's the popular girl.
Her groom is going, she's going to be insufferable after this.
Oh yeah, that's it. You know,
I
like
love it.
now I'm going to have to buy her all the riches because she's going to be like, "Oh, and you don't think the king will fight for me again?" She's
Right?
a Latina. Anywho. She's Hispanic, I'm
Totally.
sure.
Totally. In the middle of the Sumerian Empire.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
100%.
But,
No matter how much they fought, the two were completely equal in ability. The fight came to a sudden halt, the pair leaning against each other as they tried to catch their breaths. The entire crowd was silent as the king and the wild man stared at each other. Then Gilgamesh and Enkidu threw back their heads and laughed, finding equals in one another. And thus a beautiful friendship was born.
oh.
So, time passes, and Gilgamesh is eager to attain greater glory for himself and his friend. He tells Enkidu that they must go and kill the giant demon Humbaba, guardian of the cedar forests. Enkidu tried to talk Gilgamesh out of this scheme, knowing that there was no one who had ever survived a battle against Humbaba. They even approached the wise elders of the kingdom, asking what they thought they should do. The old men were terrified of Humbaba and spoke in hushed tones of how all who entered the cedar forest met their certain death. But Gilgamesh said,
I want to prove him not the awesome thing we think he is, and that the boundaries set up by the gods are not unbreakable. I will defeat him in his cedar forest. The youth of Uruk needs this fight. They have grown soft and restless. Well, yeah, because you have them just building a wall and then destroying it and then building it again.
Right? Hearing these words, the elders agreed with their king and blessed his journey, telling him,
Let Enkidu lead. Don't trust your strength. He knows the forests, and the one who goes ahead will save his friend.
Ooh.
You like my old man voice?
I love your old man voice.
I like it too.
That was- Now, Enkidu was still unconvinced of the wisdom of this quest, but he wasn't going to allow his closest friend to face this danger alone. Even Ninsun, Gilgamesh's mother, told Enkidu that she saw him as her son as well and prayed for their good fortune and safety for the journey.
Oh.
I know. And Enkidu's like, now I really gotta go.
Yeah. And like I bet you Enkidu asks Gilgamesh's mom how she's doing. Maybe that's why she's like, "You're my favorite son."
You're my favorite son. All right, honey.
Yeah.
I'm just letting you know. To the cedar forest they traveled, and all the while Enkidu was plagued with terrible dreams and visions and was full of a great fear that Gilgamesh tried to dispel. Once they were in the forest, Enkidu's nightmares and visions got worse, and he suffered from sleep paralysis as his friend slept peacefully beside him. Yenny, have you ever had sleep paralysis?
I have. I had it once, but I was drunk. Being honest. I was
Okay.
like, I know this is happening, but I'm drunk. So yeah.
Okay. All right, perfect. Great. Well, my husband has told me about the couple times he's had it, and he's like, oh, yeah, no, I wouldn't wish it on anybody. And this sounds terrible. So tremors overtook Enkidu's hands, and he was filled with dread. Each time Gilgamesh saw his friend's fear, he would encourage him and tell him what a great thing it was that they were doing, and how wonderful it would be for the kingdom to finally be able to access the cedar forest. Finally, Gilgamesh was ready to fight the demon. He struck his axe against one of the cedar trees, which immediately caught the monster's attention. Humbaba ran down the secret paths of the cedar forest that only he knew about, and even the sound of his footsteps brought fear to Gilgamesh. As he felt overcome with fear, he called out to the sun god Shamash for courage and strength. When Humbaba appeared before Enkidu and Gilgamesh, they saw that he was terribly deformed and grotesque, and they almost felt pity for him.
He was the slave who did work for the gods, but whom the gods never noticed. Kind of giving me Hephaestus vibes.
You know what? I kind of see that. I kind of see that. Yeah. In the brief moment of pity they felt, Humbaba violently struck Enkidu's head, bringing the wild man down, and Gilgamesh rushed to protect his friend. The three fought fearsomely, the earth shaking underneath them. And finally, Gilgamesh struck off Humbaba's head with his axe. Victory was theirs.
Aha.
I know. Perfect. Great. Wonderful. So the next morning, after the men had bathed and packed their belongings to head back to Uruk, Ishtar, goddess of war, love, and fertility, as well as the patron goddess of Uruk, appeared before them. She offered Gilgamesh royal robes and a finely made crown, and told him that the gods were angry with Gilgamesh for killing their Humbaba. However, she continued,
I might persuade my father Anu to relent if you marry me. That is the way your kingdom will know peace. Okay.
right?
Ishtar.
But Gilgamesh was unimpressed by the goddess and her charms. He asked her, "What would I gain by taking you as my wife?" To which she answered,
Love and peace.
Then Gilgamesh laughed in her face.
-2.
I'm like, this
-2.
is not good.
Just for that, Enkidu gets +2. Gilgamesh, -2.
Right? He pointed out all of the past beings she had claimed to love, including the horse whose back was always whipped, the great lion who was always trapped into pits, and the innocent men who had loved her and she had transformed into animals for her own amusement.
Your love brings only war. You are an old fat whore. Dang. That's all you are. Who was once beautiful, perhaps, and could deceive, but who has left in men a memory of grief. We outgrow our naivety in thinking goddesses return our love. Okay, fine.
Dang!
-1, because that was a
Okay.
really good one.
That was a really good one, especially I am thinking, like, if he is actually bringing up her past transgressions, like, this is all true, then,
Fair, fine. You know what? Okay, maybe it wasn't love
like,
and peace.
I would be suspicious, too.
Oh, yeah, fair,
So.
fair.
So Ishtar was so insulted by Gilgamesh's rejection that she could only stutter in outrage, which mood, and flew back to the heavens to cry to her father, the sky god, Anu. When she was done shrieking in rage to her father, he merely answered that everything Gilgamesh had said about her past lovers was true. Her
Oh my
love
God.
brought harm to mortals. And of course, this infuriated Ishtar even more, and she demanded that Anu make for her the bull of heaven and send it to earth to kill the king of Uruk. Anu tried to talk sense into his daughter, saying that if the bull of heaven touched the earth, the land would be plagued by drought and famine for 7 years. Ishtar told him that the humans had enough food stored to survive, if not thrive, and that hunger would teach them not to insult the gods. Petty, but
her daddy be accepting this.
Yes. Anu accepted this, thinking, all right, well, if they've got some food stored, okay. And he sent the bull of heaven to earth. The bull of heaven killed 300 men before it ever found Gilgamesh.
Bruh.
Yeah, this was a problem.
Lord Jesus.
Right? Enkidu intervened and grabbed the bull by the horns and wrestled it to the ground.
Damn, that's hot. +1. You could do
Then
that
he
3.
Then he caught the bull by the tail and spun it around and around. Does he get another plus for that?
No. You know, I
Okay,
can't give him
okay.
too much compliments. I have to go a little by little.
As the bull stumbled and panted in confusion, Enkidu drew his sword and killed the heavenly monster. Ishtar stood on the walls of Uruk and screamed,
Grief to those who have insulted me and killed the bull of heaven.
Hearing the goddess yelling, Enkidu cut open the bull and threw its guts at Ishtar, yelling back at her,
I would tear you just like this if I could reach you.
and Ishtar flew away full of anger and grief.
Ishtar, just stay home, baby. Just
I know.
let it
I'm like,
go.
this is not working for you, honey. This is not
No.
working. Yeah. Now let it never be said that the gods of ancient Mesopotamia were fair and just entities. However,
Aw,
they did have a little bit of a right to some of their anger towards Gilgamesh and Enkidu,
I
because
believe so.
they never asked anyone to kill Humbaba, the guardian of the cedar forest. They had put him to work there, and then Gilgamesh decided, you know what, my name isn't great enough. Let me go start this. They were upset by Humbaba's death, and the death of the bull of heaven, and the insulting of the goddess of love and beauty, even if it was all true. Like,
And
nobody's
fair.
supposed to bring
Yeah,
up the
yeah.
past. Come on. Like, still, they're like, she's the goddess of love and beauty. She can do whatever she wants. She's also the
Exactly.
goddess of, like, fertility and war, like humans. appease her.
Yeah.
But all that being said, they were mad. So they decided that the mortal men must be punished. They cursed Enkidu, and he fell into a terrible illness. Whether this illness was part of the old injury he had sustained from Humbaba or a separate malady is debated by scholars. But Enkidu languished for days. He was troubled by fevers and terrible dreams and told Gilgamesh his illness was indeed a punishment from the gods. Gilgamesh tried to comfort his friend, saying it was a normal fever. It would break shortly, promising that Enkidu would recover. But Enkidu knew better.
Oh.
As Enkidu's fever became worse and worse, he raged and spoke nonsense in his room like a crazy madman. Gilgamesh wept over his friend, confused as to why no treatment healed him, and he was terrified that Enkidu would die. Enkidu ranted and raved, talking about feathers growing from his arms, about the dead who waited for him in the lightless underworld, about how his mouth tasted of dust and clay. Poor Enkidu!
Well, he was made of clay.
That's true. That's true. Gilgamesh continued to try to soothe Enkidu, telling him stories of their adventures together, and he cried over the fact that their time together had been so short. The king pleaded with the elders and his goddess mother to save his friend, but deep in his heart he knew it was a lost cause. Enkidu saw his friend's sorrow and said,
Man sees death in things. That is what it is to be a man. You'll know when you have lost the strength to see the way you once did. You'll be alone and wander looking for that life that's gone, or some eternal life you have to find. Your eyes have changed. You are crying. You never cried before. It's not like you. Why am I to die, you to wander on alone? Is that the way it is with friends? Damn.
Okay,
He's
when
a
we
poetic man.
when we are 126 Yenny and side by side at the
Sarah,
nursing home.
You better tell me this.
I'm quoting this. If you go before me, I'm quoting this. If I go before you, you better quote
We
this.
gotta
This
quote. Yeah.
This is good.
This is good
Point
stuff.
point to Enkidu on his deathbed. Point to
Man,
Enkidu.
Our boy's almost at 5, dude. He's that
I know.
good. He's that good. Gilgamesh, though? All right, you're
No.
crying for your friend. I'll put you back at
Yeah.
0.
I was gonna say, yeah. Gilgamesh said nothing but sat and watched as Enkidu's eyes stilled and death took him away.
Real question, did he turn into clay after that?
I don't believe so, but also I'm not sure.
Yeah, that would be kind of
I'm really not sure.
traumatizing.
So, what I do know is Gilgamesh was inconsolable.
No.
He felt even lonelier than he had before he had ever met Enkidu. He thought of all the things he wished he had said to his friend, all of the adventures he wished they could have experienced. He felt exhausted by his grief and discovered that he now had a fear of death, a feeling he had never experienced before. He no longer felt like a king, but like a man who had lost his way, his purpose, his beliefs. Madness, grief, fear, and fatigue were all that Gilgamesh felt. And he decided that he must find the secret to immortal life and bring it to Enkidu in order to bring him back to life.
I thought they had to still be alive to then.
You know, I thought so too. But Gilgamesh seems to be of the opinion that, no, Enkidu doesn't have to be alive. Enkidu's body just has to be present for him to give the gift to, and then the alive Gilgamesh can, take it, and then both of them can be immortal.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. There may be a few things lost in translation over 4,000 years.
I'm assuming.
6,000
But
years.
now we're moving into a quest for immortality.
We are moving into a quest.
I got it.
Here's what the rest of the story is. So, covering himself in hides and dust, quoted from the text, Gilgamesh wandered out into the wilderness in search of his ancestor, Utnapishtim, the one mortal in all of history who had ever achieved everlasting life. During his wandering search, Gilgamesh prayed to the gods for help, but expected nothing from them at this point.
Fair point.
Yeah. At night, as he slept, he was filled with fear and missed Enkidu, who would have helped calm his fears. Day and night, the air was filled with the sounds of wild animals and strange beasts. But the moon god Sin kept Gilgamesh safe from them as the king traveled through the mountains and valleys. So see, the gods are delivering some help at some times when they, again, who knows the will of the gods?
Yep.
At last he came to the tallest mountain, Mashu, the mountain of the sunset. Gilgamesh had to go through the mountain in order to find Utnapishtim, but the way was guarded by the terrifying scorpion men.
Stop. Do you mean The Rock?
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson from the Mummy sequel. Oh my gosh. I kind of love it.
So many things to discuss with.
We have so many
with
hot
The
beast
Rock.
men in Gilgamesh.
This
What?
This is the hot men. Yeah, this is it.
Hot
This
man
is where
beast
all
episode.
all the fanfics of beastmen come from Gilgamesh.
You know, I believe it. It is the oldest story we have a written record of. Everything is a fan fiction of Gilgamesh. Everything.
I just,
Boom. Done. End of episode. We got it.
Mhm.
All right. So, all right.
Back to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Back to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in the sequel to The Mummy.
And in Gilgamesh.
Legend had it that just seeing the scorpion men would bring death to the onlooker, or maybe that was just the CGI used on Dwayne Johnson in The Mummy, because that CGI is...
Dude.
I see what they were going for. He's beautiful, and then the CGI happens, and you're like, oh!
Yeah.
You were so close!
Yeah. But we love him for trying. Big star.
We do love him. But anyway, due to Gilgamesh's demigod nature, he was able to look upon the scorpion men and approach and not die, but he was filled with fear of them. So,
Fair.
he's starting to have some logic, I'm noticing.
Yes.
Like, he's starting to experience fear. Good for him.
Yeah.
They asked him why he wanted to enter the mountain, and Gilgamesh told them he was seeking Utnapishtim and the secret of eternal life. The scorpion men advised Gilgamesh to turn back, but he refused, tearfully explaining to them that this was his life's mission now. They let him know that the path through the mountain was treacherous, and Gilgamesh would have to walk through complete darkness for a full day.
I don't know about
Now, in
that.
some translations, they also say a full week. It varies.
That's a very big difference there.
Both sound terrible to me.
No, I think a week is more. You know what? I could deal with complete darkness for a day, but a damn week?
Right? Yeah. Well, and here, as bad as that sounds, let me make it sound even more pitiful, because in the text it said that anytime he would feel like he was going to succumb to his fear and turn back and abandon his quest, he would just mutter to himself Enkidu's name over and over again. And I'm just like, oh, don't do this to me.
What?
I know.
We love
I
best
know.
friends.
We do love best friends. So when he came out of the darkness, he found himself in a valley where the trees and vines bore precious stones as fruit. He came to the home of the sea goddess Siduri, who welcomed him into her home. Speaking of another, way different translation, does he walk through darkness for 24 hours or for, 7 days? In one translation, they say that the sea goddess Siduri is actually a bar winch. So interpret that as you will. I don't know.
She can give you beer and give you a nice time at the same time.
Oh, la
There you go.
la.
And she's a sea goddess. All in one.
All right, so she welcomes him into her home. He told her of his quest to find eternal life and bring it to his lost friend. And she, of course, tries to discourage him from continuing on with his quest, offering instead that he stay with her and enjoy life with her. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But Gilgamesh refused after having a preview of what she was promising.
They always have the preview.
And so they always have to have the preview. And so Siduri told him that he must go and find the ferrymen in order to find Utnapishtim. So that's what Gilgamesh did.
I mean, look, Sarah, I would really love if we could get just one story where the main guy meets the woman and the woman's like, go baby, go save your friend,
Go do
do
this.
things.
Go do the quest.
For some reason, there always has to be a woman that's making the lead guy make the wrong choice, and it's just we're not all bad.
Odysseus has Circe and Calypso. Aeneas has Dido. It's all very tragic and sad and varying levels of willingness to let the hero go. I will say, if it makes you feel any better, by the time Gilgamesh leaves Siduri, she's like, go, get out of here. I'm tired of you.
Oh, there you go.
So
she's a smart one.
Exactly. So Gilgamesh goes and finds the ferryman of Utnapishtim. I'm going to skip a couple things because basically what happens is there's a whole lot of arguing between the two, and then the destruction of personal property. Gilgamesh destroying the ferryman's personal property.
Okay, I don't know.
So after all of that, the ferryman finally takes the grieving king across the ocean of death. and to the island home of Utnapishtim and his wife. Utnapishtim saw Gilgamesh and saw the embodiment of grief itself. He welcomed the king to his home, and Gilgamesh told the man he was looking for the secret of immortality so he could bring his friend back from death. As the pair continued to speak, Utnapishtim told Gilgamesh that what he was looking for was impossible to find.
Twist. The
way Utnapishtim became immortal was by being one of the few mortals ever favored by the gods. Which I'm just like, okay, what kind of unlucky stroke of luck is this?
Gilgamesh Gilgamesh is the last person to be favored right now.
Yes. Yeah, Utnapishtim is like, well, listen, the gods really, really liked me. And Gilgamesh is going, about that, actually. My friend's dead because they don't like me.
Yeah.
Is that going to be a problem?
Yeah.
So, according to Utnapishtim, long ago, Ishtar, Anu, and Enlil decided that flooding the whole world would be entertaining for them.
Fun.
Because why wouldn't we do anything else? Utnapishtim does say the gods are very fickle, and it's not great to be favored by him, is basically what his whole story is going to sum up to.
Mm-hmm.
But the god Ea hated this idea and told Utnapishtim to build a great boat and fill it all with the seeds of life. Plants, animals, his family, and craftsmen and artisans. Utnapishtim obeyed the god, and when the flood came, he, his family, and everything he had placed in the boat survived the carnage. Ishtar, Anu, and Enlil regretted destroying the world. Little late for that.
A little.
And together with Ea, granted Utnapishtim and his wife immortality. But according to Utnapishtim, that is the only way a mortal could ever become immortal, and he and his wife are the only ones to ever receive that gift. And it was not a great one, according to Utnapishtim. He was pretty lonely.
Yeah.
He was like, it's just me and my wife, and we watch a whole lot of death happen.
Yeah.
The flood, kind of traumatic. Like we have never been the same, and we're still alive.
Yeah.
We're kind of dealing with that. It's a little upsetting.
Oh.
So Gilgamesh, hearing all of this, went, well, that's not good enough, and demanded that there must be some other secret.
Lord.
Utnapishtim thought about it and reasoned that he proved himself worthy of immortality, so maybe that's what Gilgamesh had to do? I mean, it's a good enough guess, I guess.
Okay.
He instructs the king to stay awake as long as he possibly can. Gilgamesh agrees to this and promptly falls asleep and remains asleep for 7 days.
What? Wait.
Yeah.
Why is it that every single hero has to fall asleep for a certain amount of time? And I feel like it's just like the author going, I just need a break for a second. I'll come
There's
back.
so much going on.
Yeah,
So
I'll
much
come
going
back
on.
and then I'll start something completely different, which is exactly what happens now, right?
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
You see?
100%. Yeah.
You see?
Upon waking, Gilgamesh is horrified to learn how long he was unconscious, and he weeps and he wails over his own weakness.
What about Enkidu's body? That thing has maggots on it already at this point.
Yeah. I don't know about Sumerian burial practices, but I don't know if they were practicing embalming or anything. Things are not looking good for the corpse of Enkidu.
No. The smell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Utnapishtim's wife was moved by Gilgamesh's grief and determination and begged her husband to help him. What do you think he's been doing, woman?
Yeah.
Utnapishtim told Gilgamesh of a strange flower that was covered in thorns and grew at the bottom of the sea. Yeah, uh-huh.
Is this Tangled all over again?
Flowers
The gleam and glow made Gilgamesh immortal.
Supposedly, this flower alone could grant immortality to the king and his friend. Gilgamesh, without another word, set off and tied stones to his feet to help him swim to the bottom of the ocean. Do we not have the bends?
There's a lot of things here that just don't make sense, Gilgamesh. Come on now, boy.
He
Please.
found the flower, though. He found
there
it.
you go.
Doesn't, or it's not weird if it works, okay?
Got it.
So he found the flower, brought it to the surface, and rejoiced at the success of his mission. And I will say it's kind of bitterly sweet because, like, in the text, he, like, pops up out of the water holding it, going, I found it! I found it! I found it! Like, just saying it over and over again. I'm like, oh, honey. So, with the flower in hand, he began his great journey home. By the way, we have no idea. Other than the 7 days that he was asleep, we have no
Yeah.
idea how long Gilgamesh was gone. But I'm assuming it's been a time, and whoever is holding onto Enkidu's body, like Yini, like you said, was probably regretting this job.
Yeah. They're like, this was not enough money. I'll tell you that much.
I am not happy about this.
No.
So guess what?
Something is going to happen to that flower, isn't
During
it? Yeah. I knew it.
During the journey home, Gilgamesh stopped at a clear spring to bathe himself after all of his wanderings. While he bathed, a snake caught the scent of the magical flower.
Vaya carajo.
The snake ate it and immediately shed its old skin. The new, healthy young snake slithered away, leaving a horrified Gilgamesh to weep and wail at his stinging loss. A broken-hearted Gilgamesh continued his journey homeward, knowing that his search was over and he must return empty-handed. As he approached his city, he stared at its great walls and knew the walls were the closest he, Enkidu, or any man would ever come to achieving immortality ever again.
Oh, Lord.
Only the gods would ever be immortal, and all of mankind was doomed to one day die. With this in mind, as well as his treasured memories of his friend, Gilgamesh came to the conclusion that it is up to mankind to make the most of their limited time on Earth. The end.
So let me get this straight.
Yeah.
Immortality is the achievement we make along the way?
Pretty much. Yeah. Like, whatever you achieve in life, like, that's how you're going to be remembered. Yeah. The ending of the story is what the literary world would call an anticlimax.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
after the 7 days, I'm telling you, the writer was like, I don't know what else to write.
Yeah,
Let's
he's like,
make
I
him fall
gotta
asleep for
wrap this
7
up.
days, and then
And there's a
do
flower and a
Very quick.
snake and a very sympathetic wife, and like, just get him out of here.
Uh-huh.
The Epic of Gilgamesh tells a very human story, even if the ending is anticlimactic.
Mm-hmm.
It is a story of loss, grief, and the search of meaning in life.
At the start of the story, Gilgamesh is a vain, tyrannical ruler who has never known failure, and who orders the building and destruction of the great city's walls simply because he's bored, which has a lot to say about it. Where was his mother teaching him at this point?
Right, she was going, honey, I got you Legos.
Yeah.
I got you Legos so you could stop doing this.
Yes. When he finally connects with another person, his life is filled with challenge and meaning. By the end of the story, Gilgamesh has failed at the greatest quest of his life. Multiple times, in fact, but stares at the walls of his city and knows they are a thing of awe and that his kingdom must be tended to.
He is wiser at the end of the story. Sadder as well, but that's often the cost of a life well lived. Friendship gave Gilgamesh his life meaning, and when that friendship was gone, he sought to live a life that mattered. In that life, Gilgamesh conquered kingdoms, built the great walls of Uruk, killed the giant demon Humbaba, destroyed the bull of heaven, and sought to conquer death.
But he gained wisdom by accepting that some things can't be overcome with brute strength, but must simply be accepted.
In the story, Gilgamesh is representative of the civilized world. Enkidu represents nature, wildness without man. When Enkidu has a relationship with the temple prostitute and loses his ability to dwell among the animals, he gains the ability to speak and to reason. Therefore, Enkidu evolves into something civilized and becomes a greater equal to Gilgamesh.
This is reflective of the Sumerian belief that the natural world and the civilized world were two entirely separate worlds.
However, I would like to point out that while it is Enkidu who is civilized, it is Gilgamesh who becomes humanized by his relationship with the wild man. It is also my personal view that mankind and humanity is at its best when it is involved with nature.
This is coming from a horse girl, so.
Rude.
Yeah, but it's
But
true.
But rude. Still. Gilgamesh is also representative of the sun. He shines brightly. He is even oppressive in his might. And there is no other being who can compare to him, just as there is nothing else in the sky or in the heavens that can compare to the sun.
Yes, but even the sun must set. So too does Gilgamesh learn that he, as well as everyone he loves, must someday die.
Gilgamesh, like all of us here on Earth, struggles with the concept of his own mortality. and the eventual heat death of the universe.
Sarah.
Sorry. In closing, stories are their own sort of immortality, and the Epic of Gilgamesh is the oldest written story mankind currently has.
So the great king, in a way, did achieve immortality.
For himself and his friend.
Yes.
Totally. And that's why we here at Story Sirens love discussing these stories with all of you.
Oh, absolutely. And with that said, let's move into modern media.
Let's do it. All right. Gilgamesh appears several times in the massive Fate anime/game/manga/light novel franchise as a servant character and as an antagonist.
Oh. In the 2021 novel City of the Plague God by Sarwat Chadha, the main character meets Gilgamesh, who did in fact achieve immortality, but just lied about it in the epic.
Sneaky. The 1988 Japanese play Gilgamesh/Gerugameshu, written by philosopher Takeshi Umehara, is supposedly what inspired Hayao Miyazaki's 1997 film Princess Mononoke, which is another type of epic.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
The 2024 film Where is Gilgamesh by director Karzan Cardozi weaves the story of Gilgamesh with the story of a museum security guard named Govan trying to save one of the epic's stolen tablets. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. Let's finish off with our siren call. Head to your local library or bookstore because Barnes & Noble's is closing down in several areas. So let's please try to, the Barnes & Noble's
keep
down
your
here.
bookstores open.
Yeah, keep your bookstores open. The one down here that has been open since ever is finally closing, and it's so sad. Pick up a copy of Gilgamesh. It's super short, guys, roughly 85 pages, and it's a great read.
I personally recommend the version by Herbert Mason, as it has some beautifully tragic phrases that just wrench your heart in the best way possible. For example, there's a phrase in there that says, "This is the tale of Gilgamesh, part man, part god, and the story of Enkidu, part man, part beast, and how together they became human."
Aww, it's so cute.
So, other than that, did we miss anything about the epic?
Let us know in the comments or in our public Discord. Again,
join our Discord.
Yes, the link to join our Discord is in the show notes. And then enjoy your Jet2 holiday. So we'll let you guys go.
Gilgamesh and Enkidu did. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Story Sirens. You can follow us on Instagram at Story Sirens Podcast. Want to support us? Send us a cup of Ko-fi by searching ko-fi.com/storysirens. We've got lots of treats for those who become siren seekers. All research materials can be found in the episode summary. Music by Donald Guzzi and artwork by Alexis Torres. Story Sirens is a Feather and Fin production. See you soon.